Quantum Understanding number 6. The topic that we're going to talk about this week is, are you comfortable in your skin? Have you ever said that to someone? Has someone said that to you? What does it mean when someone asks that question? Well, it basically means you're happy, you see, with yourself. With the body that you've been given, your personality, and yes, it involves your heart. Are you, comfortable or happy with yourself? And as a child, a child, normally has actually that outlook. Why? Because, but first let me give you a quote. There is a group that wrote a song one time, and I quote Earth, Wind, and Fire, where they stated how a child is born with a heart of gold, but the bringing up of this world is what makes the child's heart grow so cold, you see. So, as a child, starting from being birthed and all the way up until, 1 and 2 years of age, all the attention is focused on that child. Nonstop, and the majority of the time from the child's mother. Would you agree? And so, by the time the child reaches 2, and I make a joke with this, sometimes that's when the terrible twos, as they call, come about, because the child has certainly developed self-love and even confidence to be able to accomplish or get whatever they want. And sometimes, when the instruction and discipline phase starts around about 2, at least, to let the child know that, no, I'm just not going to drop everything, that I'm doing, that I did when you were crying, within the first 12 months, of being fed and eat, sleep, being, fed, eat, sleep, and playing with the toys over the crib and things of that nature. But all the same, that child shows it is happy with itself. It's comfortable with itself in its own skin, And what happens in times is the experience as the child, branches out, so to speak, from schooling or interactions with others. That's when a conflict can come up at times, and has come up at times, where at one time where the child was comfortable in their own skin, it was the outside influences and forces, that all of a sudden made the child not as comfortable anymore. See? And that's what, as I mentioned from that quote from a song, was talking about what the world can do to people, do to human beings. And the reason why this question is very important about, are you comfortable in your own skin? Because it really does affect the way that you will, again, carry out your stimuli, or should I say, respond to stimuli of the world as you even get older, We're talking about not only the conscience, we're talking about boundaries, personal boundaries, things of that nature, on how we interact with people, okay? So are you comfortable in your own skin? There was another poet who also wrote a poetry on, he really acted out very well, almost like in a monologue form. But the name of the poem is called Love Thyself. And so one of the points that he even brought out happens to be, that God is love. And a lot of people have heard this, even persons who don't believe in God. Isn't that something? And yet that is actually an inspired statement in the good book that God is love. And so he was like, confounded that the way his, monologue was going and then the acting out was gone about, if God is love, then why are we having a difficult time loving ourselves since we are made in the image of that one who is love, you see? So that is a good question to ask, because we know that God is certainly happy with himself as the great I am, the ultimate I am, you see. And he's happy with himself, you see. He's comfortable in his spirit body, you see, to use that, you see, as a figurative, descriptive terms, which persons have come to learn that from reading a good book, even though God does say he has, eyes and ears and hands and things of that nature, it still does not really, describe him, his form, as it really is as a spirit body, you see. But once again, he put it in terms that we can understand how his spirit body still can what? See, feel, hear, you see, and has power, you see. Even though it's certainly not in the form that he created us in. But all the same, we are made in his image, you see. So with that love, should we not be comfortable in our skins? No matter what the stimuli may be, the outside forces, should we not appreciate our qualities, our talents, you see? And when I say our talents and our intelligence, one thing that you can come to appreciate is that most persons have something that they can share with others, something that someone else may not have the ability to do or know or what have you. And so some persons, I admit, they use the expression, they are a jack of all trades, master of none. And that's used, as a joke at times. But what that continues to show is all of our abilities to learn really practically anything on this earth, to explore our minds, from the sciences to the arts, you see, crowd instruments. Some persons have desired to play certain instruments, and yet it wasn't until later years in life where they were able to devote that time to playing the instrument that the first couple of decades of their life, they couldn't play at all, even though they always admired that instrument. Well, see, that once again shows the ability of the human mind and a desire to learn things that they may not know today. So that's why we, continue to respect persons. We dignify persons no matter what they know or don't know. Would you say that is an ethical way of treating people? Are you comfortable in your own skin, you see? Now, I stated that depending on how you answer that question, it does affect how you respond to the stimuli of the world. What you may do in a positive way, and yes, in a not so positive way. See, let's go further. If you, or when you do, love yourself, you see, when you love yourself and you're comfortable in your skin, then there is no desire to actually jump out of your skin, so to speak, and to overtake someone else's skin, so to speak. You see, if a person is not comfortable in their skin, then some actually start picking up controlling habits of other person's skin. And along with that, since we talk about God is love, and that person's no love has something to do with caring and sharing, and yes, even desires, they may even say, as they're controlling another individual, that they love them. But see, as I stated before, when you're comfortable in your own skin, and of course, that's because of having that self-love, then there is no desire to control someone else in that manner and then call it love. Because you know what happens? Love, remember, is proactive. Love does not look for loopholes or justify hurting someone else. And it does not look for ways to even take things from others either. It just doesn't. So with that being said, when too much control is placed on another individual who says out of love that they're controlling this person to such a degree, then eventually, because it's not necessary, the control actually start turning into different forms of abuse. See, that's what happens. And the abuse often starts with, the conscience areas. We talked about the conscience quite a bit in health and medical matters, you see. And I've seen enough examples of life and experience that yes, when God has granted each human being that conscience that is also created with, being made in his image, he leaves it up to us, for our medical treatments and decisions and things of that nature, you see. And so it's again, just understood from really reading a good book, from understanding the way that God thinks and feels on the matter, on the matter, and being comfortable in your own skin. Because what did we already discuss? When you're comfortable in your own skin, you have no desire to actually jump into someone else's skin, you see. So, God is love. Being comfortable in your own skin actually leaves a lot of room to still grow in love. And once again, a way of understanding and appreciating yourself more and more each day through what I want to emphasize, your prayerful meditations to God, you see? And the same way that he has a spirit of, remember we're still talking figurative, of being comfortable in his body, you see, he actually uses that same type of spirit to continue to reinforce, strengthen, set aglow, if you will, the spirit in your heart, in your body, okay? And he will continue to maintain that for you, help you to maintain it as you appreciate what he has given you as well. Thank you for being with me this week on this Will You Make the Quantum Leap in Understanding number 6? And you have a very wonderful day, okay? You have just listened to the Perceptive Readers Podcast. Remember, until next time, if you read something that encourages you to improve or enhance your life for the better, it becomes your reality.